close personal and professional relations with such struggle icons as Nelson Mandela, Albertina Sisulu and Governor Mbeki, what lessons did you draw about the values that should shape the post-apartheid justice system as well as society in general?
You know, not only the persons that you have mentioned, but the people that I represented, not only the leaders, but the people in rural areas who did not want their wives or mothers to take passes, or the people who were kicked out of school for not going to school on the first day that Bantu education came into being. People who challenged the validity of the banning orders that were served. People who were detained without trial for 90 days, 120 days, and then indefinitely. All these people have influenced my attitude. I am asked what was responsible for my doing probably most of the political trials in South Africa. And some of them want to ascribe it to my Greek origin and the classics. Of course they have influenced me. But ordinary South Africans, black and white, influenced me because of their courage, because that they believed firmly that human beings are equal, that human beings ought to be respected, irrespective of color or gender. And many of them were treated very much worse than I was treated. They were imprisoned, they were detained without trial. Some of their relatives were executed. Compared to their disadvantage, mine was a hindrance at most. I was labeled a communist, a terrorist, all other names. I was refused citizenship twice. I didn't have a travel document. Until 1972, I didn't see my mother, who remained behind in Greece when my father and I left and became refugees to South Africa. But all these things were minor compared. And these people actually were responsible, the people that I defend. They are responsible for my optimism. A man was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for a political offense, and his wife at the back of the court shouted out, "10 years is nothing, my husband, I'll wait for you." If in the rural areas, a man called Boas Moilwa, who was the uncle of Chief Boas Moilwa of the Bafarutsi, who had to flee to Botswana because he didn't listen to the authorities. He was asked to tell his women to take passes, so he gathered them all, I think 6,000 of them.
Jeez.
in the hotla, in the meeting place of the tribe, together with the chief native commissioner and the head of police in Rustenburg. And he said to the women in Setswana, "These people standing next to me told me to tell you that you must go on Monday and take passes." And the women applauded. The white officials didn't understand what he had said, and they left quite happy that it would be easy to issue the passes. They thought that the people in the rural areas are stupid and they wouldn't start with Johannesburg. Yeah. And Boaz Moilwa was called to a schoolroom. He was the uncle of the chief, and he was handed a document appointing him chief. And he said to them, I've seen 2 chiefs being installed before me in my lifetime. He was over 60. Never in a schoolroom. Take me out to the hotla, to the meeting place. And if I am saluted by my people as their chief, I will become their chief. You have no right to appoint me. He paid dearly for it. They took him away and they sent him to a place where only Xhosa was spoken. He couldn't communicate with people. They put him in a zozo. You know what a zozo is? Corrugated iron structure. Alone, kilometers away from the stream from which he was to draw water, or the small shop where he could spend the £5 allowance a month that they gave him. He died within a year. Boaz Moilwa had never read a book except the Bible. He was a devout Lutheran. But he didn't need philosophers or anybody to tell him what democracy was. And I want to give another example of 2 youngsters. They had been in solitary confinement for almost a year. I was briefed to defend them when they were released from detention. And I was consulting with them in the Pretoria prison. The warder came in and asked, Mr. Bezos, how long are you going to be? I said, well, why quite some time? He said, the mother of one of them had come from Johannesburg. I hadn't seen his mother for almost a year. But don't worry, you can carry on. I'm going to send her away and tell her to come another day. I said, no, I've got 2 people here. I'll leave the one. I will continue my work with the one and let him see his mother. He went, he came back with 2 oranges. He sat down and slowly peeled the orange, divided it into 3 parts, and offered me the first part. I said, you know, you only have 2 oranges between the 2 of you. We have a bag of oranges at home. Please share it between yourselves. I said, no, we are together in this, Mr. Bezos. You have to take a portion of it. I'm sure that he never read Marx or Engels or the, or the Communist Manifesto or anything like that. But there was an innate goodness among the people that I moved, which gave me courage, and I continued. And I actually hope that the slogan, "Don't blame the Constitution, catches on."